Summer is always a very dangerous time for my communication team and also for the Dean's leadership team, because this is when I start reading various books. I have maybe time to read that. And if you're among my legion of Twitter followers, I have a grand total of 328 Twitter followers. They increase monotonically. I don't think Katie can tell me if I'm right or not on this one. I don't know. We have drops. Do we have any people who dropped out of my Twitter account? No. Okay. So I have a grand total of 328. Matt Barkley, I think, has 80,000. Am I correct? Yeah. So you can tell the difference, who is more important on this campus here. But if you follow my Twitter, you will, first of all, have picked up my penetrating insights on the state of soccer, those of you who care about it. But more seriously, my appreciation of a new book by Oxford quantum physicist David Deutsch, which is called The Beginning of Infinity. Now I know what you're thinking. Last year it was from very good to great. This year it's the beginning of infinity. Well, you are into something, because this is how I view the school's trajectory. But I wanted to also highlight a couple of profound points which resonated very deeply with me in reading this book. I recommend it, incidentally, heavily. It's not a book for the lighthearted, particularly chapter 11, because it talks about multiple universes. I read this about 3 times and I couldn't really understand it. But he has many other very interesting points that I think will be worth reading. And I don't get any commission from the book, just to be clear. David Deutsch says, problems, and I prefer to call them challenges, are inevitable. And then he goes, but all problems are solvable. As a chemical engineer, I was fascinated that the word Deutsch used is not the more conventional problems are solvable, but soluble, which to me means that they are dissolved, disappear, dissipate, they're gone. In the above context, when we talk about problems and challenges, I don't mean those that are driven by our human imperfections. As you know, we don't have such imperfections in the school. Our mantra of constantly improving quality and excellence in all our endeavors have banished such challenges, I hope. What Deutsch and I think, mean are that those challenges are the ones that come with new endeavors, new advances, new ideas, and new domains. Such challenges are inevitable. They are the collision of ideas. But, and here comes Deutsch's optimism, which I share wholeheartedly, they are all soluble. And they're all soluble through science and engineering and technology. These challenges will be solved and progressively faster in today's world, and then they will give rise to new challenges as we move on to new endeavors, and subsequently these challenges will be solved to create yet new challenges in the future. This is an exciting and exhilarating part of our evolution in our discipline and in our profession. And it is the path that our own discipline and our own mission and our own school aspire to forge for the collective benefit. Deutsch's view is a profoundly optimistic view of the world. Let me give you an old example. In 1798, the famous English scholar Robert Malthus argued that the coming 19th century would see a permanent end of human progress. The human population was exploding, and there simply was not enough food to go around. Malthus was quite right about one of these things, the explosion of human population, which indeed it exploded. In fact, the population keeps exploding decade after decade. What he did not count on, however, was that this explosion in humans will coincide with an even greater explosion in food production. Someone, and I would bet it was an engineer, discovered some new knowledge, some new methods of producing food, and that challenge was resolved at least then. More than 200 years later, we face new sets of challenges. We will always have them. The National Academy of Engineering codified 14 of them into the so-called Grand Challenges, in which, incidentally, USC Viterbi has been a national and now a global leader, as I will tell you in a moment. Perhaps they are as daunting as Malthus's all challenges. But science and engineering will, as surely as we know that the earth rotates, provide solutions by creating new knowledge and new possibilities until these new challenges come into view to be solved again with the same power. So that when the 21st century Malthus's prophets doom, whether because of energy crisis, climate change, peak oil, cyber terrorism, access to clean water, reverse engineering the brain, or personalized learning, we can turn to them and say, all problems are solvable. We live in unprecedented times. I will borrow the words of NA President Chuck Vest. He said, we live in the most exciting era for science and technology in human history. Indeed, the spectacular advances that are fundamentally driven by Moore's law have spawned and continue spawning great innovation with deeply technological roots that empower society in unprecedented ways. This is a theme to which I have returned to time and again, even before I read The Beginning of Infinity. The notion of engineering empowering society. And it's a rather extraordinary thing how this manifests itself. Last July, my writer said here, the famous comedian, I have no knowledge of that, but the famous comedian Patton Oswalt, is he famous? Not to me, but apparently he is famous. Or she. He, actually. Gave a talk at a gathering of comedians and Hollywood executives. During the talk, he held up his iPhone and said, in my hand right now, I'm holding more filmmaking technology than Orson Welles had when he filmed Citizen Kane. I'm holding almost the same amount of cinematography, post-editing, sound editing, and broadcast capabilities as you have at your TV network. Technology, science, and engineering have empowered the individual. Everyone is perhaps much more in control of their own destiny. And today there are quite literally millions of ways in which this is manifested. In our school, we call this concept, Engineering Empowering Society, as also Engineering Plus. Or, as our new CS chair, Gaurav Sukhatme, aptly translated into CS language, Engineering Plus Plus. The more pluses, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And that is what permeates the philosophy of our school. It reflects the enabling and innovation power of our discipline, its extraordinary interdisciplinary potential, its convergence with the sciences and medicine, the arts, and even the social sciences. It is one of our deepest aspirations of the Viterbi School to be among the world leaders in enabling this power. It is really the equivalent of all problems are solvable. For engineering to empower society, however, society must also empower engineering in a complementary and symmetric way. What this really means to me is that we need to attract, nourish, and grow talent in all its diverse forms, and in the right environment to propel our discipline to solve all these new challenges and open new frontiers. Actually, I have found parallels of this in The Beginning of Infinity. You will not expect me otherwise. Deutsch seeks to explain how knowledge evolves. How is knowledge created? His answer is very simple and very profound. Just like Darwin's biological principles, it requires two overarching processes: variation and selection. Variation means to allow new, different, and diverse ideas to spawn, be contemplated, and be experimented with. And selection means the rigorous testing and criticism of all these various alternatives, with finally bestowing to the best idea, that which passes all the critical tests, the identity of new knowledge. Which is new, that is, until another novel, out-of-the-box idea will appear soon, which displaces the previous and becomes the new knowledge. This is the whole game of research, the whole enterprise of research and the creation of new knowledge. And in our times, this happens with exponentially increasing speed. From this simple but profound explanation, one can draw a powerful conclusion. For new knowledge to be created, for new technology to be created, for new skills to be developed, the environment must exist that nourishes the spirit of free, diverse, and unencumbered exploration and research. That's the variation. And of free, diverse, and unencumbered criticism and testing. And that's the selection. Universities are the crucible of such creation. And we at the Viterbi School aspire to be among the world leaders in enabling this environment and the creation of new knowledge to flourish among our students and among our faculty. The moment is pivotal. Tom Friedman of the New York Times recently wrote that in today's hyper-connected world, being best or among the best is essential. Being average will not result into an average job anymore. And at least in the developed countries, good jobs will be based on innovation. So I translate, being best or among the best requires the creation, the constant creation of such knowledge and of such innovation. And being average will simply not cut it. So here you have it. There will always be challenges, but all challenges are solvable through engineering and technology. A very optimistic message, which I wholeheartedly endorse. Because engineering is empowering society, but also requires society to empower engineering, all strata of society. And that leads to the concept of diversity in all its forms. And we need talent and the nourishing environment to enhance variation and accelerate selection so that we can create new knowledge and tools and become associated with the next big innovation. These tenets form the compass for the direction of the Viterbi School for it to go from very good to great, or as President Nikias has said, to help USC ascend to undisputed elite status. As we have been strategizing about how to meet this challenge, we concluded last year that it must be based on 4 pillars. So there will be a test after this if you remember the 4 pillars. Pillar 1, be the global attractor of top talent, whether students, faculty, or staff, from anywhere in the world, and create the environment for them to flourish. Pillar 2, continuously add value in our curriculum, our programs, and our infrastructure. Pillar 3, lead globally to advance solutions to world challenges, from sustainability to health, to security, to the elevation of the world standard of living, to new science and advances in science. And Pillar 4, use Engineering Plus to become the catalyst for the innovations that will fuel the growth and the economy of our area, Southern California, the United States, perhaps the world. So this state of the school is to give you a brief glimpse of recent progress along many of these fronts. In the area of attracting and nourishing top talent, I have much good news to report. Consider the new freshman class. Again this fall, we exceeded considerably our enrollment targets, and the class is as strong as it has ever been. 34% of the class were named university scholars. 58 of them are national merit scholars. The average SAT has increased 47 points since the new test was introduced back in 2006. 38% of the entering freshman class are women. Repeat that. 38% of the entering freshman class are women. This is probably, well, this is the highest ever in our class, in our school, and I'm sure that it is one of the highest in the nation. Students are represented from 14 different countries, 33 different states. They have incredible diverse backgrounds and interests, which enhance our students' co-curricular experience tremendously. Last week, I met a presidential scholar, a freshman, who came to my office along with her father. She's a BME freshman, Norberto, who is essentially a sophomore because she has transferred so many courses here that she basically has 1 year free of things to do. She grew up in Palos Verdes, your area, speaks Mandarin, Hindi, and Spanish, and will do a BME major with a business minor and conduct research in electrical engineering as an undergraduate in wireless health. On top of that, she was extremely poised and articulate. I was just blown away for the quality of these students. The last few years, the rate of return of freshman engineering to sophomores has been consistently in the 91 to 92% range. 91 to 92% of our entering freshman class returns to engineering for a sophomore year. This is an outstanding statistic. Whenever I tell this to people in the country, they all are amazed what a high rate of return there is. And the 6-year graduation rate of students who enter engineering as freshmen and graduated from USC overall, some in engineering, some outside. There are some that, lose faith and move somewhere else, but we try to make sure they keep the faith, is close to 90%, which is basically the average rate of graduation from USC overall. Our undergraduates are bright, engaged, and will challenge us. We need to make sure that they receive the best undergraduate engineering education they can find anywhere. I should mention that student groups from the American Society of Civil Engineers and also from aerospace engineering, 2 different groups, received recently national distinctions as student chapters. So let us make sure that promises that we made are promises that are met. Promises that we made when we recruit them, and we make many of them, as Luis will tell you, are promises that are met during their experience here. People are watching us and marvel at the ascent of the school. I witnessed this firsthand at Stanford, at the Stanford game in the Bay Area 2 weeks ago. Well, the game was a debacle, but as I mentioned to the freshman class yesterday, it so happens that the last several years, USC Engineering is ranked higher than the football team. So I don't know if this is good or bad, but it happens consistently. And I talked to many parents, many hardcore Berkeley or Stanford parents, and they all say of the wonderful experience that their kids have at USC and how much they enjoy their experience and how well the university and the school has been elevating in their opinion. And this we need to solidify to make sure that it becomes an integral part and a solid part of for the future. Coming now to our master's program, I would just want to mention that the strong branding of the school globally has resulted in a flood of new applications for the master's program. John O'Brien, who has managed this in the last year, told me that last year we had about 10,300 applications for our master's program, for about the same number of admits and enrollments that we had before. These numbers are exploding, and if the economy continues being the way it is globally, I think next year we even have a higher number of applicants. Assuming that we keep the number of admits and enrollments the same, this unprecedented increase augurs very well for the continuous increase in the quality and selectivity for our master's programs. On the PhD graduate side, we had another strong recruiting year with close to 200 new PhD students enrolled this fall. And our recent graduating class was 162 new PhD graduates this year. Also probably the highest ever, and close to a goal that we would like to have of graduating about one PhD student per year per tenure track faculty if we can reach that goal. In addition, we have seen gains in the number of women, domestic students, and underrepresented minorities. So things are strong on that front as well. I'd like now to come to faculty achievements. In the last 4 years, the Viterbi School had 7 of its faculty inducted in the National Academy of Engineering. Next Sunday, Professor Mike Waterman, who holds a joint appointment in computer science and biology, will be also inducted into the NAE in its annual meeting in Washington. This distinction, and I actually do the measurement, and I go there and measure all these numbers, clearly puts USC in the same elite place as MIT and Stanford and a small other number of elite universities. It's an undisputable evidence of the quality of our senior faculty. Coming to the junior faculty. Last month, as you know, the MIT Technology Review announced its annual Tier 35 list. You know that by now, this list is the list of the top 35 technology innovators in the world, and that includes universities, companies, research labs, under the age of 35. Bersin Beserik-Gerber, assistant professor in the Sani Astani Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, who's sitting right here, was selected as one of the 35 in the world. And in the last 4 years, 6 Viterbi junior faculty, 4 of whom are women, have earned that distinction. It is a testament to the outstanding caliber of our junior faculty, and again places our school among the very best in the world in that category. These are numbers that you cannot dispute. I will also be remiss if I do not mention yet another unprecedented junior faculty honor. Last spring, 7 USC Viterbi junior faculty were recognized as young investigators by the 4 research agencies of the Department of Defense, the DoD. This sort of magnificent 7 received a total of 8 awards. Now you say, what's the math error in that sentence? There's none. One person, Andrea Hodge, who when she saw me going that way, she was coming actually the other way, and she turned around and says, oh, I'll come with you at your speech. She wasn't really intending to come here, but she's there. Andrea won 2 such awards, and she commiserated with me that because she got her PhD early in her career, she was, a precocious person. She's not eligible for the PK's award that she was sure she was going to get this year because of her managers. But so you have we appreciate that, Andrea, and in our book you have won it, okay? How about that? Only the University of Michigan had as many awardees in these categories. And I should tell you that the University of Michigan's numbers also included people with appointments in the natural sciences, not only in engineering. That was the case here at USC. So I do, in my competitive spirit, go there and try to figure out who is beating us, and if they do, by how much, and then we try to make sure adjustments that we, level the playing field. I should also mention a few other distinctions. Andy Molis was awarded the 2012 IEEE Eric Sumner Award in Wireless Communications. Andy Viterbi, who is on our faculty, received the Royal Academy of Engineering's International Medal. Benham Jafarpur, who is here, I saw him, is the recipient of the SPE Petroleum Engineering Junior Faculty Research Initiation Award, which is a national competition, while Iraja Shagi, our indomitable Iraja Shagi, will be given the Honorary Member Award of the same society next month. Mike Kastner, who is on the director of ONR, just received the Meritorious Public Service Medal of the U.S. Navy. Kostas Sioudas received the Huygens Schmidt Award. Terry Langdon received the 2012 ACTA Materialia Gold Medal. And our beloved Solomon Golom, who celebrated his 80th birthday earlier this year, received, just to go along as a birthday present, the 2012 William Proctor Prize for Scientific Achievement, the 2012 Phi Kappa Phi Lifetime Achievement Award, and he was also elected as a fellow of the AMS. Just a few days in the life of Solomon Golom. These were among the 68 such distinctions our faculty received last year. There are many that I don't mention, but if I start mentioning that, my speech, which is already long, will be a lot longer, and my communications team tells me that you're having really long speeches. So I just want to make sure I don't move that way. The university announced last fall a Transformative Faculty Initiative. We always aim to recruit faculty with transformative potential. We don't want to recruit faculty who don't have transformative potential. But the Provost Initiative really underscores and enhances this ambition. I am very pleased to welcome to the Viterbi School a number of senior faculty who joined us recently and who are raising the bar of excellence. Scott Fraser, new Provost Professor of Biomedical Engineering, jointly with the Dornsife College, comes to us from Caltech. Lucio Soibelman, new Chair of Civil Engineering, is coming to us from CMU. Julie Heigl, the first female department chair in recent Viterbi history. I don't know if Garmeyer was a chair, no? So Julie, you are the only and first female chair in Viterbi history. Congratulations. Is very much overdue, and finally we close that particular chapter. And Mada Mogadam, professor of EE, has joined us from the University of Michigan. They are joining an outstanding cohort of junior faculty in all departments, and I see many of you here as well. Our staff continue to respond and serve the Viterbi School with unprecedented commitment. I have seen it firsthand. They go beyond the call of duty and show a unique loyalty to the school. I'm very proud of the staff that we have. And I should tell you that other schools are always trying to raid our staff. And we try to create preventive strategies from this to happen. But indeed, they are your target of acquisition and hostile takeovers and things of the like. That was the first pillar. The second pillar of our ambition is to continuously add in value to our curriculum, programs, and infrastructure to help create the environment that creates new knowledge. Last fall, we launched for the first time the HTE at USC program, Health, Technology, and Engineering at USC. As you know, this program will jointly train medical students in a technology-bent curriculum, engineering PhD students with clinical immersion and understanding. The program started last year. This year is its second year. As Terry Zanger, HTE co-director, put it, I want engineers to learn how to use a stethoscope. They need to learn to use a stethoscope to understand why it has 100% market penetration, why this nearly 200-year-old device has never been supplanted. Until they understand that, they cannot possibly design devices that have meaning in the clinic. The intersection of engineering and the arts is another fertile ground, particularly in a place like Los Angeles. Our USC Games program, which is a joint initiative between the Viterbi Department of Computer Science and the Cinema School's Interactive Media Division, has been named #1 in the nation for the third straight year by Princeton Review. Mike Zaida, who heads this program, told the LA Times, "The great thing about having students make games in academia is that they can think outside of the boxes that the commercial industry is bound by. When the commercial industry invests in a new title, they have to get a huge return. Students can take big risks. It is an interesting model for innovation." And as some of you know, we are reinventing the classroom itself. Imagine a future where a classroom at USC Viterbi is not just a classroom in Los Angeles, but it is a global classroom. Imagine a day in the life of a USC student. They walk into their 8 a.m. class and say hello to their friends from Mumbai, Technion in Haifa, or Aachen in Germany. At 1 p.m., they walk into another class and greet their friends from São Paulo in Brazil. And at 6 p.m., they are debating digital innovation with their colleagues from PKU in Beijing and KAIST in Korea. In each of these cases, student groups span multiple countries and multiple elite engineering schools globally, joined by the interactive video on the internet. This already has started with our iPodia program since 2010. Last July, we announced the first globe-spanning such alliance. We call it the iPodia Alliance. It includes the schools of engineering at USC, Peking University, which is considered the Harvard of China, sorry, Joe, National Taiwan University, Technion, Institute of Technology in Israel, IIT Mumbai, the Technical University of Aachen in Germany, and the Korean Institute for Advanced Studies, KAIST, in South Korea. We're also currently pursuing the University of São Paulo in Brazil. This alliance expands the definition of a classroom to global dimensions. It lies at the intersection of three circles: engineering education, technology, and globalization. And that is the spot where this iPodia Alliance fits. It's a much different version of distance learning, one which is interactive, pedagogical, because the lecture is inverted, and global. And there is no change of money. Money does not change hands. It stays within each university vis-a-vis tuition. To be clear, none of this would have been possible without the existing infrastructure, resources, and 40-year track record in distance education due to our DEN at Viterbi. DEN celebrates its 40th year with an open house event on October 3rd, next week, and remains one of the nation's oldest and distinguished pioneers in online education. iPodia is but the latest and most innovative manifestation of that. Recognizing the importance of big data, we have proceeded in the creation of a new graduate program on informatics to be headed by Herb Shore. As you know, Herb Shore stepped down from director of ISI. That glorious role is now at the hands of interim executive director John O'Brien, who is doing a great job at the Institute, and we are recruiting aggressively for the new executive director. I have tremendous faith in the future of ISI and look forward to make it as strong and stronger than it has ever been. Informatics will play a pivotal role in the future of practically every scientific and professional activity, from cybersecurity to data mining, and we now have the program to harness this potential. The third of our pillars is to lead globally to advance solutions to world challenges, from sustainability to health, to security, to the elevation of the world's standards of living. There will always be challenges, but all challenges are solvable. One example of this is Berokos Nevis' work in 3D printing. Shelter has long been one of humanity's most fundamental needs. Berok's technology, known as contour crafting, holds the promise of building a house in one single day. Over 500,000 viewers watched Barack's most recent TEDx talk, where he articulated his vision of replacing entire slums in India with robotically constructed designs at a fraction of the cost. Another key example is Ted Berger's work in reverse engineering the human brain. As noted in the New York Times 2 weeks ago, these efforts, first successfully tested on rats, are the first demonstration of the sort of brain prosthesis that could eventually help people with damage from dementia, strokes, or other brain injuries. A truly revolutionary approach and development. And going beyond Moore's Law, the USC Lockheed Quantum Computer Center, located at ISI, and using a D-Wave 128 qubit chip, is the first academic center in the world to explore the potential of this technology for solving massive computational problems in optimization. The preliminary results are very encouraging, and our own faculty in quantum computing, in electrical engineering, as well as at ISI, look forward to the next generation chip, which I understand will move the processing capacity to 512 qubits and open up unprecedented opportunities in computing. Yesterday at the Freshman Academy, Jennifer Burns, who was a vice president for Lockheed Martin, gave a talk to our freshmen. I was very pleased to see among her 6 or 7 slides that she presented that she had the Quantum Computing Center at USC as a prime example of innovation for the future. The vision of solving big data, perhaps with quantum computing, may not be that far away. As you know, USC Viterbi has played a key role in the grand challenges of the National Academy. These are all multidisciplinary, and they are addressing things like health, sustainability, security, and the joy of living. In October 2010, we hosted the second annual summit here at the USC campus, together with Duke University, Olin College of Engineering, and Caltech. We are now working on our next event. Actually, I was on the phone earlier this morning at a conference call, which will be global and will be held in London in March 2013. It will be co-sponsored by the NAE, the Royal Academy of Engineering, and the Chinese Academy of Engineering. This unprecedented partnership of 3 academies of engineering in the United States, UK, and China will carry yet to another scale the enabling power of engineering. Which brings us to the 4th and final pillar. Use Engineering Plus to be the catalyst for the innovations that will fuel the economic growth of our region and the world. As I said, there will be a test at the end of the talk on what are the 4 pillars. Pay attention. Being associated with the next big innovation is one of the goals of our school, and we have been very pleased with the Viterbi entries in the Massey Entrepreneurship Prize Competition, MEPC, which this year enters its 3rd year. Competing startups have been working alongside industry mentors to create the best business plan idea, one that also fits within one of the 14 NAE Grand Challenges. Last year's winner, Claritrack, it was based on in the area of engineering better diagnostics. 1 in 8 women are diagnosed in their lifetime with breast cancer. So when a lump or a lesion shows up, how does a doctor decide whether it's benign or cancerous? There are many ways by which you can do it. Claritrack's plan was to avoid the trauma of open surgery and to improve upon existing and less invasive techniques. Claritrack provided a business plan model that was judged to be the best, and now through MEPC, they have received $50,000 in seed money to take their idea and commercialize it. Initiatives like the Massey Prize are part of a larger ecosystem of entrepreneurship and innovation we are building at USC. Next Wednesday, on October 3rd, will be the kickoff of the new Viterbi Student Institute of Innovation, called VSI Square. We iterated many times about the acronym. VSI Square was the winner. It will be highlighted by a conversation with Mike Abbott, venture partner with Kleiner Perkins Caufield and Byers, and the ex-CTO of Twitter. Under the direction of Peter Birrell and Ashish Soni, VSI Square will be an umbrella for new startup speakers series, the MEPC contest, the DOE Backflow Clean Energy Business Challenge, Viterbi Startup Virtual Lab, bi-monthly pitch days, mentoring programs, and a number of other student-centric activities in this field. We're very excited to provide these opportunities for our students who are of the same caliber as any you can find in the nation, and who are thirsty for innovation of this type, and will very much be able to afford for them to present to them. On the subject of Engineering Plus, I should tell you that tomorrow is also an exciting day for both Viterbi and Keck. After 25 years of work, Mark Humayun's Argus II artificial retina may be approved for the first commercially available artificial retina in the United States. Mark has a company. It's okay with that. We're fine with that. Second Sight, itself a spin-off of the Alfred Mann Institute, and has already seen the artificial retina approved in Europe. And if given the FDA's blessing, it may mean for the American blind community what the cochlear implant has meant for the American deaf community. In fact, just last week, Mark was named among the top 1% of physicians by the US News and World Report. You can safely say that Mark is not in the 99%. All problems are solvable. Engineering empowers society, and society empowers engineering. Creating the environment that will nourish variation and selection, and the creation of new knowledge and new ideas. Our 4 pillars to go from very good to great. In our discussion last year, progress to achieve our goals, we realized that the progress to achieve our goals cannot be possible without a solid financial plan. First, I'm pleased to tell you that this year's budget is strong, and hopefully will remain so. You have to worry about Greece leaving the euro, but that's a bigger problem for me than actually the rest of you. But looking to the future, we want to build the financial foundation that would allow us to accomplish our goals. 2 years ago, President Nikias announced a historic $6 billion fundraising campaign. Progress along this campaign has been remarkable. You see them around you in the newspapers, in the websites, and the announcements. On April 24, 2013, at our annual Viterbi Awards, who I'm expecting that you will attend, this school, our own school, will announce the kickoff of its own campaign with a goal of $500 million, or put differently, $500 million. That amount is part of the $6 billion target. So don't expect that this is separate from the 6. It's just part of that. I have not done any research on the matter, but I am pretty sure that this is the largest campaign ever for an engineering school. Coming at the end in 2008 of our own separate 7-year, $300 million campaign, which was successfully completed in 2008, this ambitious goal, if reached, will help catapult Viterbi to the greatness we all aspire. You can see the fruits of that campaign in what we have here in the school. The Viterbi naming, the Ming Shea naming, Sonia Stani naming, Dan Epstein naming, Mark Stevens, Ken Klein, major gifts that have transformed our school, and our school has no semblance of what it was in 2001. It's much, much better as a school. And so now it's worth asking, what does $500 million get you these days? If you're software mogul Larry Ellison, it's the price of purchasing the Hawaiian island of Lanai, or at least 98% of it. If you are the two candidates, presidential candidates, in the fall 2012 election, it's roughly the cost of the presidential arms race in television ads, at least so far to date, according to the Huffington Post. But for USC Viterbi, it means a heck of a lot. It will fund the transformation, the hiring of new faculty, the endowment of student scholarships and faculty chairs, the completion of the naming of our departments and centers. And there are some orphan departments out there. I know what they are, and I share your pain. The creation of new research facilities and the launch of new academic programs. It means the realization of our new 190,000 square feet building for the convergence of molecular science and engineering, a project that is going very well, that we're pushing forward. All the plans are done, and now we're waiting to secure the naming gift. And if we do that, then we will be able to break ground and get the building going. This will be the intersection between molecular science and engineering, and will build upon the shared strengths of Viterbi and the USC Dornsife College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. Reaching that goal of $500 million will be no small challenge. The good news is that we have already raised 20% of our goal, namely $100 million, and look forward to announcing exciting new philanthropic contributions, both here and overseas. Indeed, for this goal, we have created a number of volunteer leadership boards, not only here, but also in places where there is the creation of additional wealth, such as China and India. Inaugural meetings of these boards will happen later in the fall semester. A global school like Viterbi will rely on global reach and the support of our friends and alums from throughout the globe. So the state of the school is climbing the ascending direction of our 4 pillars. The timing is right because we live in the most exciting time for science and engineering in human history. We aspire to play an important leadership role worldwide to enable engineering to empower society, and in the process to go from very good to great. Thank you for your help and to your support to make this exciting vision a reality.